Let me say something a lot of people will consider controversial. You see, Moniepoint did not become a fintech giant because of POS terminals. If you think that POS is their business, you have missed the real story. You see, while a lot of people were chasing transaction, Tosin Eniolorunda and his team were building something far bigger. And what they were doing, a lot of entrepreneurs missed it. Now, what is that thing that Tosin was busy doing? What is that thing that made Moniepoint to become the fintech giant that is now a unicorn? They are now serving 50 and 60% of the market in Africa and most especially in Nigeria. A lot of people might have missed it, but not Tosin and his team. It is that thing that made Moniepoint to become the fintech giant that we want to uncover in today's conversation. You're welcome to Peak Performance Diary. This is Africa Need Builder. I'm Michael Abiola Ogunshola. I want to say a big thank you for joining the conversation today. You are here because you're the kind of person that values usable knowledge. Our goal is to bring you premium content that would shift you from point A to point B. If you have not already subscribed, I want to encourage you to subscribe so that you'll be among those that will begin to be updated when content like this is up. Now let's get to the rest of the conversation. The man behind Moniepoint is an introvert and he is an unlikely CEO. Why so? As an introvert, you would have thought that he would not be able to take on the kind of responsibility he's taking. Well, I will shock you.
My name is Tosin Eniolorunda. I am the co-founder and CEO of Moniepoint Inc. Moniepoint is a financial technology provider providing payment services, credit services, business tools to small and medium businesses across Africa.
Born in March 1985, he was born in Lagos State. Even though he's a native of Ondo, he grew up in Oyo State, Ibadan precisely. He read mechanical engineering from the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University. Upon graduation, he sought a job at Interswitch. He worked there for a couple of years. After working at Interswitch for over 5 years, him and his co-founder started TeamApt, and by 2019, they pivoted the company and named it Moniepoint. And by 2024, they had become a unicorn. Looking at that backstory, you will look at that company and say, what is it about this company that made them record this unprecedented success? A company that was founded by an introvert. Is not as if Tosin Eniolorunda has some middle class or upper class lifestyle. It's not like capital was readily available for him. Unlike Aliko Dangote that we studied, he was not born into a business family per se, because his dad is an engineer and his mom is a school teacher. But there are certain things a lot of people don't know about Tosin Eniolorunda, and I'm going to show you those things that help him to become the success story we are now studying. Number one, Tosin Eniolorunda had his motivation right. What am I saying? So Tosin started TeamApt. When he started TeamApt, he began to render his service to banks. One of such banks that they served in the early days had gone into agreement with them that build this app for us, and we're going to give you 20% of revenue that will be generated as a result of the app you have built. And Tosin Eniolorunda said, this is a good deal. I like it. Him and his team went ahead, they built the solution, they built the application for that bank, and it was reportedly said that the bank practically went back on the deal. What am I saying? The bank said they were not going to pull through with that agreement. They kind of scammed him, permit me to say. And so they invited him and said, gentlemen, we are going to renegotiate this deal. And he said to them, how do you renegotiate a deal that is already agreed for and done? They said, well, we can no longer give you 20%. This is our new terms and condition, and you have to take it. Otherwise, we shut down the app, we build our own, and you lose. You see, that singular disappointment angered Tosin so much that he said he went into his car and wept. He cried. But guess what? He turned that tears into the fertilizer that he used to build the new Moniepoint we now know. because that singular disappointment made him to say, never again. These guys have disappointed me because they seem to have the good end of the stick. I'm going to control my destiny, and we are going to build Moniepoint. So we'll control it end to end. What am I saying? I'm saying this to you because I don't know who you are and I don't know where you are in your journey. But this is one thing I will tell you. If you want to succeed in life, you want to have the mindset that says disappointment, failure, setback will not stop me. Be like our man Tosin Eniolorunda. After that disappointment, he could have just looked at it and said entrepreneurship is not for me. But instead, that was even the fuel. Like I said, his cry literally became the fertilizer for his soil of entrepreneurship. So what are you going through? Turn that pain to products. So another striking thing about Tosin is he understands the concept of learn to earn. What is learn to earn? As you're watching me right now, maybe you have just graduated or you have some funds and you want to go into a business. You don't just want to rush into that business. Be like our man Tosin. He has been building and tinkering with a lot of ideas. But he said in one of the conversations that even though he has always wanted to build something and build a company out of his product, he still wanted to work in an organization. And that's the point. He worked at InterSwitch for over 5 years. While working there, he understood networking, understood the corporate world, he understood how you can use technology to solve problems at scale. All of this industry experience he gathered will later help him to build a successful brand. And that's what I'm telling you, dear viewer, that you don't want to just rush and go and start building. Yes, we believe in your dream, we believe in your business idea. There is zeal, there is passion, there is excitement, there is energy. But you need to mix your zeal with knowledge. And how you will achieve it is seek to work in that industry you want to build for. Because as you begin to intercourse with that space, you begin to have like a first-hand knowledge of how things work for real. So it's no longer, you are no longer like assuming. You are no longer going to operate with a bird eye view. You will come with a warm eye view because you can see what is in your front. And that's one thing that we need to understand, that you must be humble to serve people. Don't be eager to be independent. Settle down, learn, work to learn and earn. Most of the time, a lot of people, when they want to take a job, the first thing they want to ask is, how much will you pay? Or how much am I going to earn from this job? I feel like that should be secondary. What you want to focus on is, who am I going to become on this job? Who am I going to work with? What opportunities would avail me? Do I get to travel? Do I get to upskill? Do I get to, have social interaction? What kind of networking events do they have in this organization? What is even the working atmosphere? Is it a good place for me to grow? Is it a good place? Is it a good atmosphere? In this era of wokeness, is it a good space for your mental health? You don't want to go into an organization sane and live there in sin. We've seen that happen a lot. So what am I saying? We are saying that even though you are a builder at heart, be an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody that works under an entrepreneur. So the N is the boss, the in is the subordinate. Choose a place that supports where you are going. Another thing you will see in the life of Tosin that makes him a genius of a sort is he knows when to pivot. You recall I shared with you how one of the companies he had rendered his service to went back on their terms and they said they were no longer going to pay him what they had agreed. He began to reflect on that experience and many others, and he said, no, we can't be doing team app. We have to pivot. We have to move from team app to Moniepoint. And that singular decision changed everything. That we are no longer going to just serve the banks, We are now going to serve the unbanked and underbanked. We're going to serve the market woman. We're going to serve the street business people and everyone across the payment value chain. And that made him to become king. And guess what? The same customers that he was threatened with years back, now he has them, because through his multiple payment gateways, he is able to aggregate customers in their tens of millions. Every day they are processing transactions in multiple millions. Why so? Because he knew that it was time to pivot. We are no longer just going to be serving banks, but we are now going to be serving customers. I always tell people when I get to consult with them that this business you are doing is good, but what is the 5-10 years trajectory of that business? That you want to imagine, will that business exist 5-10 years from now? Because that was the wisdom of Tosin Eniolorunda. He started creating solutions for banks. A time came, he saw that this business model is no longer sustainable. He said, let's become Moniepoint. From Moniepoint, they now have Monify, where the Monify is literally a bank. You have their card, you can access funds, you can interact with them. They have touch points across the federation. So it's important to pivot your business. Don't say this is what I inherited from my parents, or this is the legacy business. Do you know that the legacy banks, as it were, today they are looking up to Tosin in terms of transaction and numbers? The kind of numbers he commands, the kind of transaction they do on a daily basis, it's mind-boggling, because they knew when to pivot. Another thing that makes Moniepoint to dominate the space of POS and payment space is Tosin Eniolorunda. They know, him and his team know how to position themselves ahead of opportunity. Take note of that. And they also have a winning strategy. A lot of times we like to attribute people's success to luck, favor, grace, and all this abstract spiritual language that we really cannot quantify. Let me tell you, in as much as there is a God factor, and I'm going to give you that success equation even from the spiritual perspective. So there is the Paul that planted, there is the Apollos that watered, and then of course the constant is God that gives the increase. Take note of the word constant. God is always ready to give increase. But where is your Paul that has planted? Where is your Apollos that has watered? And that's exactly what Tosin did. Tosin positioned himself for the opportunity. When COVID hit, boom, their business exploded. Because whilst initially people were using the legacy banks, the likes of First Bank, Access, and the rest, people trusted them because of the physical building and, But when COVID hit, that was when digital payments blew up. And people saw that, wow, we no longer can go out, but we need financial service. They began to trust guys like Moniepoint. And you know what? That's a Kairos moment, because he was prepared. He had the infrastructure to cash into that opportunity. Another Kairos moment, talking about positioning himself for opportunity, is Emefiele's saga. You remember when Emefiele came up with this cashless policy and he wanted to take certain notes out of circulation? That's another breakthrough moment for Tosin Eniolorunda. Two defining moments. So if you have been in Ibadan, there is this popular public transport called Mikra, and the Mikra guys have a union. Their union is decentralized at a level such that power is shared, but the power is concentrated at the top. Their leader is like a governor, and he has state coordinators, or he has like local government coordinators, and those local government coordinators have like councillors. So those people, you will see them, they are taking tickets, and they are highly grassroots. Basically, that's the point here. That same model, Tosin Eniolorunda, being raised in Ibadan, had seen it, and he saw that these guys, they have a reporting system that works here. He took that model, he brought it into the POS business and the Moniepoint system, and they created something called relationship manager. So every terminal, you will agree with me that you will see this blue terminal called Moniepoint POS in weird places. The only way you can get to weird places is because there is a relationship manager that is able to deploy it, and then those people trust that their money is safe because there is somebody that gave the POS to them that they can see, that they know, that they trust. So he took that street idea, plus his experience in corporate, he merged it and he created his own relationship manager system. And so there are those business managers interact with customers, they speak their language. Unlike the banks, the legacy banks, where you will see people wear corporate suits and all of that. Sometimes people are not just comfortable with such people. So you can see that strategy there. It's a winning strategy. All of this came together and success became inevitable. So don't forget, we are saying that when you position yourself ahead of opportunity will locate you. Because the truth of the matter is, God is always ready to bless people that are ready to do the work. Because God is just. To be poor is to pass over opportunity repeatedly. So you don't want to be in that camp. Another critical success factor that you will see in Moniepoint is they have a strong team. So the founding team is very important, dear builder. If you want to start your business, by all means, be intentional about the team you start with. You have to go for a team of people that are hungry and ambitious. When I say hungry, I don't mean literally hungry in terms of they have not eaten, but a people that have a hunger to do something impactful. You remember we talked about Felix as the co-founder of Moniepoint. Now that Felix guy, him and Tosin had worked at InterSwitch. And Tosin also said they have other people that he got from InterSwitch and, some wonderful relationship he has had over the years. And that's it. You see, it is the quality of the team that determines the quality of the product or the quality of the company. Because it's the teamwork that makes the dream to work. So build a strong team. Don't focus on taking credits. So what is the point here? We are saying that if you see people that are good, that are sound, that you can build with, don't try to say, I want to own everything. Share the glory, share the credit, collaborate. I have said it before on this platform that at a level, when you become a professor or a doctor, at a level they have taught you how not to collaborate. The more you master the educational system, if you are not a conscious learner, that's a student that is intentional about not being indoctrinated into the agenda of being, a tool or being produced as a cog where you are just being churned out as a graduate to go and join the industrial or the factory line to just as a worker or as an employee. If you are not reprogramming yourself as they are programming you, after you have gone to school, you will realize that your creative capacity, your productive ability, your ability to produce and become an entrepreneur, you will realize that it will be lost. So what are we saying in essence? Be like our man. Have the winning team. Have a team that is formidable. It is teamwork that makes the dream work. Most of the time, look at Africa and Nigeria. We have hardly taken World Cup. Among many reasons is because we don't know how to do things in teams. We don't know how to work as a collective. We like to do things like in silo system. Hush. This is my own. No, let's come together and build. Which part of this conversation spoke to you the most? Which part of this lesson inspired you? You want to drop it in the comment section and let us also know where you're watching from, because we are speaking to Africans. We are saying that Africa needs builders. We are saying that we can have a financially Africa if we begin to activate the entrepreneurial capacity of Africans. Many thanks for being part of today's conversation. I remain Michael Abiola Ogunshola, the Peak Performance Strategist, saying you are created for peak performance. Go for it.